to know the new techniques, to know the new methods, to know the new technology, the new machines that are in place that will be able to give us good service delivery in our various departments. And I want to encourage that as we are preparing to resume, I think we should also make sure that we learn these new techniques, especially so that we can combine, we can hybrid the manual method with ICT driven. And in achieving that, the college must also make certain facilities or equipment available for the use of students and teachers, so that at least we can get better things, better results. And that there are so many things that we need to do as a college that will also help the nation. We need to train technicians. We need to train artisans. We need to train school leavers. And how do we do that if we are not in tune with the new technology? So I'm saying that the management is in tune with the new thinking, with the new methods of doing things, and that we are working hard to make sure that all these equipment that are ICT driven, ICT produced, are also made available for the use of staff and students, so that we can also meet with the rest of the world. So we will not rest on our horse to make sure that at least we also remain. We don't want to also claim to be the first college of education technical in Nigeria by just professing it. We need to show by action. And I'm saying that as members of staff, we should subject ourselves to new training so that we can get the best for our students. Let me appreciate the organizers once again, and I wish all of us better seminar. And I believe that we're all going to gain from this seminar. Thank you, and God bless.
We want to thank you, our provost, and the chief host. The provost has welcomed us into the college, so we have the opportunity of exploring. At this point in time, I want to call on the chairman of the occasion, Sir Amobi Nwakafo, to give us his opening remark. The chairman, sir. The chairman, sir.
Greetings, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, sir.
The provost, Dr. Aziz Wahid, the deputy provost, Dr. Lamidi, my good friend, Dean, School of Technical Education, Mr. Adesiyu Abiodu, all other deans and directors here present, chief lecturers and other academics from various institutions, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm greatly honored to be invited to be the chairman of this live webinar of School of Technical Education, Federal College of Education, Technical, Akoka, Lagos. The world of work is being profoundly affected by the global COVID-19 pandemic. Not only is the health of millions of people at risk, also at stake are their long-term livelihood and well-being. Over the past weeks, the coronavirus pandemic has presented unique challenges to all types and levels of learning, including schooling, technical and vocational education, and training, shortened as TVET, apprenticeships, and skill development. All these have stimulated the webinar on hybrid delivery, innovations in TVET for education of technical and vocational professions. Skill development for livelihood is a key priority for most governments today. For this reason, TVET is more important globally than ever before. TVET's potential to address many of the challenges facing individual communities and government worldwide in their efforts towards achieving empowerment, decent work, and sustainable development are being increasingly recognized, even within the global puzzle of COVID-19 pandemic. This e-education seeks to glean insights into innovative practices in TVET, blending technology with traditional learning. The webinar will also allow us to discuss and consider the challenges emerging in the current context as we blend the traditional learning with the online learning, including how we ensure that no one is excluded from these new forms of learning and training. Hence, this webinar will be filled with the latest and most relevant insights and strategies for navigating these challenges times, both in TVET and in particular, education in general and business. Hybrid learning or blended learning refers to combining traditional face-to-face classroom instruction with web-based e-learning to ensure social distancing. The two unique presentations that will be handled by experts in TVET will provide a paradigm shift from only face-to-face to blended learning, sharing best practices as applicable to TVET. In conclusion, I believe speakers will do justice to expose you more to the concept, application, relevance, challenges, and opportunities of the webinar topic under discussion. I want to congratulate the provost and the school for being able to organize this wonderful webinar seminar. Happy listening and productive deliberation, even at the comfort at your home. Thank you very much. I wish you all well. Thank you.
We want to thank
Hello.
All right. Want to thank the chairman for the Drawbacks addressing
that the chairman, apart from being a sir, which is a high level religious person, is only a PhD holder. And we want to appreciate you, sir. At this point, I want to call on the Dean of the School of Technical Education, Mr. Adesui, to give us his remarks. The Dean, sir. The Dean.
Thank you very much. Also, let me thank the chairman. Very good to address us in this webinar. Thank you. The provost, Dr. Affective. Chairman, Dr. Amadi. All other things, from ladies and gentlemen.
Let me carry this one for you.
On our education sector. During COVID-19, thank you very much. Over 100 arriving countries. Millions of businesses were also shut down and were put on the verge of bankruptcy. I can hear. Of planning in this critical and tumultuous time. Basic web-based is on high demand. In order to align technical and vocational education and training, TVET learning to the present global challenge. Innovation, on the other hand, as you all know, is the future of development. And I strongly believe that the TVET will take us through the development, innovation, and promotion of TVET in this land. I wish you all fruitful and impactful dedication and discussion, even in the comfort of your ambient and homely environment. I thank you all and I wish you well.
They want to thank you, Dean, for the inspirational address. And it's my pleasure to call on the first presenter, Dr. Alibru. Dr. Alibru is equally an engineer and a chief lecturer in the Electrical Electronics Department of Federal College of Education, Technical, Akoka. So, logical presentation, which is actually very relevant in our present situation. And technical and vocational education and training itself is an hybrid form of education and equally a product of technological development with interaction with the environment. So we are going to have a very enlightening and intellectual interaction with Dr. Alibru. Dr. Alibru, sir.
Good morning, sir. The Provost, Dr. Wahab Ademola, my Dean, Mr. Abiodun Adesuyi, and my lawyer, Mr. Akiyemi Also, all other protocols observed. I thank you for giving me the opportunity to present this paper today. I believe that this seminar, number one, is coming up at the right time. Number two, the topic chosen by the dean or his members of the team is very, very relevant. And as such, the paper before me, which I'm presenting, is a paradigm shift from traditional method of teaching to blended technical and vocational education and training, TVET delivery in the face of COVID-19. The global coronavirus COVID-19 outbreak impacts not only our health, lives, and economies, but also the labor market and education sector. As at August 3rd, 2020 or 2020, more than 1 billion learners were affected by the closures of schools, training institutions, and universities, with nationwide closure effective in over 100 countries all over the world. That's the report from UNESCO and Univoc. The same vein, the current unprecedented situation related to COVID-19 has affected learning at all levels, including technical and vocational education and training. The situation has upturned course schedule and attendance, disrupted teaching and learning, frustrated examinations and assessment, delay of certification, and will likely affect the immediate and future careers of millions of learners. This current global crisis has emphasized the importance of online learning and digital skills. It also provides an opportunity for the development of more flexible learning solutions that make better use of distant learning and digital tools. COVID-19 has clearly become a catalyst for educational institutions worldwide to search for innovative solutions in a relatively short time. I believe we are all, there is no need of talking much on what has happened in Nigeria. Today, schools have not resumed. I remember we're about to start exam from the University of Benin. I've collected my pack. The second week to the exam, the whole system was locked down due to coronavirus. So the meaning of technical and vocational and training. TVET refers to an aspect of the educational process involving, in addition to general education, the study of technologies and related sciences, and the acquisition of practical skills, attitude, understanding, and knowledge relating to occupants in various sectors of economy and social life. That's UNESCO's definition. TVET includes both initial vocational training undertaken by young people prior to entering the labor market and continuing vocational training undertaken by adults while in work or during periods when they are economically inactive. In other words, it encompasses both initial skills development, and various forms of reskilling and upskilling. For example, those retirees, they have to undergo some reskilling so that they would not be economically inactive. So, the impact of COVID-19 on TVET. COVID-19 pandemic has caused the largest disruption of education in the history of the world. According to UNESCO, by mid-April 2020, 94% of learners worldwide were affected by the pandemic, representing 1.58 billion children and youth from pre-primary to higher education in over 200 countries. Now, Philippines and Costa Rica are using their workshop to manufacture personal protective equipment and hand sanitizer for healthcare personnel or to 3D print medical devices. Respondents also from Uganda and Ukraine noted that the sudden onset of the crisis meant there was little opportunity to develop contingency measures to ensure continuity of training. This requires a change of methods so that, because COVID-19 requires that there should be distancing. In our current situation, we cannot come together now, except maybe though the coronavirus is not too rampant as it was in many places, but measures have to be put in place. This leads us to the paradigm shift of blended hybrid learning for TVET. Though we are a little behind schedule, that is in our side, in our world here, in many countries of the world, ICT has been fully introduced, embedded in the educational system. Blended learning, as known, is also called hybrid learning, technology-mediated instruction, web-enhanced instruction, and mixed-mode instruction in an approach to education that combines online educational materials and opportunities for interaction online with traditional place-based classroom methods. It requires the physical presence of both teacher and student with some elements of student control over time, place, path, or space. The diagram before you is an illustration of what we call blended learning. Blended learning for TVET. Commonwealth of Learning defines blended TVET as the practice of building competence in knowledge and in practical and soft skill through a combination of face-to-face and technology-enabled learning experiences. Distant learning is where the blend allow learners to develop competence online or in their workplace or community and does not require them to attend a physical campus or classroom. Models for blended TVET. There are three models. Number one, learning in classrooms and workshop enhanced with technology. This will enhance teaching and learning to our students. What does it mean? In this model, the main teaching happens in classrooms and workshops in school, diverse institutions, or community organization. Technology is mainly introduced to improve quality. Number two, we see on-the-job training supplemented with classroom and distance and online learning. In this model of blended Tvs, educational institutions can support and assess learners by distance and visit workplaces to ensure coherence and assure quality so that apprentices do not need to visit our campus. Number three, learning for fully distance and online learning. Here, skills can be developed without a specialist context. TVET courses can be done fully online, though learners still need to develop practical skills, but they can do so this where they live and work. Advantages of blended TVET. Well, we just mentioned a few. We have increased access, taking learning to where learners are in homes, workplace, and communities, increase access through flexibility of time and space, thus giving learners more choice of when and where to learn. Reduce costs. The fixed cost of initial development of quality materials are significant, but can be lower by learner if used at scale, such as within centrally managed TVET system with national qualification. Another importance or advantage is improved qualities. Well-designed resources contribute to quality by providing consistency across multiple players. Distance and online learning for TVET embeds digital literacy skill and lifelong learning skills such as self-efficacy, self-direction, and critical engagement, which are valued by employers. Finally, in this note here, it increased inclusion, information technology, development, and advance in assistive devices are making it easier and even possible for people with disabilities to learn and to work. My people, we are talking about blended TVET training. Well, I want to say there are some challenges. We talk of challenges, I have three of them here. System change to gain benefit. It is the use of technology in layered on top. If
Has it stopped? Is it talking?
if the use of this technology is layered on top of Please off your. The following are ways to prepare. The following are ways to prepare for a more effective blended hybrid digital learning. Just a few, to mention just a few: improve internet infrastructure and access to the internet. Expand access for learners to online digital applications and platforms. Utilize inclusive digital and analog technologies for enhanced learning and support to learners. The rest, you glean more from there. Strategies for adopting blended hybrid learning for TVET. There are 4 phases through which education system might move to blend hybrid learning. 1, there's rapid transition to emergency remote learning and teaching. For example, in the case of this coronavirus, if those things were the second semester by now, but because these are not forthcoming, then there's problem. For the rapid transition to emergency remote learning and teaching, here the focus is on emergency remote teaching rather than optimal blended learning. In this phase, governments, institutions, and individual teachers work with whatever technologies, materials, and skills they have available, such as WhatsApp, as Zoom, that the college has accorded us privilege to make use of, radios, TV, mailing within existing synchronous model. Another one is extended transition. Government needs to intervene with solutions to support TVET system to improve the quality of emergency remote teaching, building on any available optimal online learning and minimize disparity. The key to responding to chaos environment is to respond rapidly. This rapid strategy, though there are many, what we do here is establish national cloud-based learning management system, or make existing system within institutions available more broadly, as well as enabling access for learners. This learning management system can be used for online training of TVET teachers. Negotiate with internet service provider to offer zero-rating access to educational platform, offer online courses to build staff capability in blended TVET. Laying the foundation of a new normal. In the 3rd phase, government, institutions, and industry agree on a clear vision for blended TVET. What is on a blended TVET? Successful introduction, we have now the key factors in introducing digital learning in TVET. Successful introduction of digitization in TVET is more likely to be if there is holistic approach, so the technology in TVET institution is an integral part of wider digital strategy with compatible technology at all levels of education. And number 2, use of public-private or public-public partnership to create a vision and raise funds for introduction of new technologies. Developing countries, for example, developing countries like Nigeria need to make gradual transition to ICT-enabled learning. We should do away with the old tradition. Every staff should be trained. We should embrace ICT when they are introduced, using technology to ensure wider access, more competent teachers, and better labor market focusing. This digital journey may adopt low-cost measures, e.g., following access to open educational resources online, placing existing text and presentation online, or producing video demonstrating technical and behavioral competencies. It is also important that the approach to the digitization of TVET is coherent across institutions, compatible with other parts of the education sector. Conclusion. In this presentation, the adoption of blended hybrid TVET has been discussed. Therefore, if the outlined strategies for the blended TVET for teaching and learning are implemented, there would be skill development and unemployment would be reduced drastically, while everybody stays safe from COVID-19 pandemic. Well-designed blended of TVET, particularly when combined with workplace learning, can use technology to increase quality and access, reduce costs, and be more inclusive. Thus, COVID-19 provides the catalyst for countries to understand and act on this potential. Thank you for listening.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think we have seen one of the strengths of COVID-19, that is backward integration. If not for COVID-19, we would not have known that we have one expert on innovation among us that has actually exposed us to what hybrid delivery of instruction in TVET is. I want to appreciate you, Engineer Dr. Aleburu, for this erudite presentation that is actually inspirational and thought-provoking. We assure you that we shall take critical note of the points you have raised and see how we can actualize them. Ladies and gentlemen, we shall have an interface with Dr. Aleburu by asking questions. If you have any question and making contribution anyway, it's not only asking questions, we shall equally appreciate your own contribution. But because of time, we shall limit this to only 3 people. So if you want to make contribution, please raise up your hand and Dr. Aleburu will take notes and respond accordingly. Thank you. Eh? You can send the question to the chat. Okay, so they send the question to the chat. Okay, okay, please, you can equally send your question to the chat and it will be picked up by our coordinator. Thanks. Are we having responses now? No, we'll get back to you. We'll get to talk about it. Okay.
Okay, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Please, if you have any question, please can you signify by raising your hand? And if you have further questions, also, you can also use the chat box, please. Please, if you have any question, just click in order for us to see your showing. Okay, Dr. Fakorede, do you have any questions, sir? Okay, so please unmute your mic, Dr. Fakorede.
Hello. Thank you very much, Dr. Aleburu, for that thought-provoking, well-packaged lecture. As we rightly know in education, there's nothing new about educational technology, which is driving towards the blending, the learning, which we are trying to impart on the students. Our problem that has been there and is still inherent is the issue of computer management, provision of all these facilities. The management keeps saying there's not enough fund. The government keeps saying there's no money for it. And we want to train these children to be competitive with other students around the world. Sir, what will you suggest or a form of recommendation? I am glad part of the decision makers are online with us on this webinar program. What do you think you can suggest? Who should be responsible now that we want to go online? We want to blend our learning. Who will be responsible for provision of the facility, especially for the teachers who are going to impart this knowledge? And at the same time, who will be responsible for the data procurement and management? Thank you.
Dr. Aleburu, before you answer the questions, I will also have another question. Dr. Olojede, please, you have the floor, sir. Kindly speak.
Thank you very much. Good morning. We are still in the morning. Good morning, everyone. I want to especially thank the presenter, Dr. Aleburu, for a very brilliant presentation. Now, my question is related to the one just asked by Dr. Fakorede. We have two sides to any teaching and learning. On the one hand, we have the students, and on the other side, we have the teachers. As it is now, many of our students are only fairly familiar, perhaps with the WhatsApp use and other social media facilities. I think the first time that this pandemic, how fast can we go in actually ensuring that the students are ready for this? We know that with some quick action, are prepared to embrace this technology and use it. How far can we engage our students? That's over this lockdown period, attempt to engage some students on projects and in some teaching in the use of WhatsApp. Some complain that the students even have access to WhatsApp. Some of them have been absent since. So how fast can we as an institution bring our students on board to be able to enjoy this blended teaching and learning? Because if we are ready and the students are not ready, nothing will happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Olojede. Dr. Aleburu, please, we still have one question more. Grace Alabi. Please, Grace Alabi, unmute your mic. I've unmuted you. Please, you can ask your question. Grace Alabi.
Sir, and good morning, sir. Hello. Hello.
Yes, ma, we can hear you. Go on, ma. Yes, ma.
We can hear you.
Okay.
Continue.
Good morning, sir. Okay, I want to congratulate the Dean of School of Technical Education and all the staff, the lecturer for the conference, and I want to say a big thank you to our Dr. Aleburu, for the well-presented paper. My question is centered on what he has presented, the blended learning method of teaching. We all know that technical education is all the courses, most of our courses practical-oriented courses. And my question is, how can we
Mrs. Grace, are you still there?
I think we lost Mrs. Grace because of her internet.
Okay, please, we'll move to the other question. Dr. Banjoko, please, ask your question.
Thank you, sir. Once again, I also want to appreciate our able facilitators, Dr. Aleburu, for that wonderful presentation, and also congratulate our able dean for this wonderful conference that has been organized. My question also lies with that of Mrs. Alabi. Having known that the technical and vocational education majorly lies with practical products or practical-oriented skills, how can we match these practical skills, or how can we deliver these skills to the students online? You know, at least when we go through the internet, we have many demonstrations, but in Nigeria, do we have such facilities? Or do the students have the capability? Or do So I want the facilitator to please explain better in which way we can do this. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Please, that will be all for the question. Dr. Aleburu, sir, you can respond, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. The first question comes from my brother, Dr. Fakoride. Yeah, what he asked, the question is very relevant. That's why I said that time while I was delivering my lecture, that we need to, all of us have to embrace this new, it's not new. The blended Tvs system is not new. I remember when I was doing my PhD program, I used ICT, but I'm not mentioning names, but we were, were put in a fixed. I remember that I have to hire a center of internet. I paid some amount of money to ensure that the student-centered learning took place there. So I spent almost 8 weeks to carry out the practical. I remember also that time, those who said they were computer learners, we went to them to make arrangements. On the time when it will take off, we could exam with 15 computers, working computers. Friends put together 50 computers just for the project. This we are doing, we are wasting your money, you are wasting your time. Why don't you sit down and write? I said, no. Remember, when we went in, at the end of the day, then I remember the former that the school that hindered. I said no way for that, because he was claiming, person was claiming that is a contract from federal government. I said no, it's my personal, though it was cost, it cost a lot. So what we are saying, bringing out of this, their students were ready. In fact, when we took our record at then, the scores were not used for their promotion, but was used normally to ascertain that this course was done in FCT Akoka. What I'm trying to say is that all of us, we must agree to the new development nationwide. For example, we are told that if you want to be amidst the people, you use your mouth, what we call it, mask. And also, distant learning is now compulsory everywhere who want to catch coronavirus. So what we can do is this. The leaders of schools, institutions, they should have conscience to develop the schools. I remember some journalists came to me when I was the dean. They came asking me, is the federal government trying at all? When I said to me, if what the government has devoted for institutions were actually utilized for the purpose, then we have a brilliant environment. The man said, why are you saying this? I got to Unilag, they said that those people, the government is not doing well. They got to Yabatek, they said they are not doing well. What you are saying, I said, yes. The reason being that because we know what happens. Most of the equipment that are brought into, because some of them are dead equipment. I remember that when I was HOD, I did interactive television. I connected the whole department. In fact, when I became dean, I wanted to connect it, but it couldn't continue because of obstacles here and there. So our leaders should focus on the change. If not this coronavirus now, nobody talks about blended learning. Nobody talks about we want to have a new method. This new method is very possible. You as an individual, as a teacher, as an instructor, be ready to spend and be spent. Don't look at the immediate gain. I remember that when I was doing my PhD, after defending my project, University of Ibadan hired me. They said I should lead a team. I helped them to defend the contract they got there. I remember that day, they asked me, immediately I finished my defense, the associate professor said, please come. We are going to help the school to write present a proposal. They contested with, I think, UNN, but they defeated them. But UNN was having, they are running the program. So they got 11 million contracts. Then they asked me to lead the team, go to Akoko, which I did. What I'm saying is that individually, we should be ready. The student will follow. I remember there are some of us now who are lecturers. They were with me. And that is, they were students in the college. They knew what effort we have made. And teachers themselves, when you become an HOD, there should be continuity. As a dean, there should be continuity. No, don't spoil what we have seen there. Don't come there because you are now the alpha and omega of the day. Then all that others have done. Look at those things that are done. I can tell you that one of our computer man that helped the college in some areas to produce results. My project, I remember, we will use it to teach, the right exam, and that exam, nobody will supervise you. Immediately you finish. If you don't finish, it is time-based. Immediately the time off, it goes. Then you will press a button and it will display your score. It's not go come. I remember the person that, my external assessor, when he came from OAU, he said, this thing will die in the library, that is his own concern. So my people, we all are stakeholders. If you try your best, I try my best, and leaders listening to me try their best, our school will develop. The training we go for, it's not that maybe they ask you to go for a training, you come back with a different thing. Well, number two, because of time, how to engage students. You know, engaging students is a problem. It's not a problem. I think the management team, the head of institution, to put his feet on ground, that number one, there should be equity, there should be justice. Students should be allowed to do their work. Tell them this is what we want to do. But these days, we allow students because of fear. That is why we are still backward. When I mentioned it the other time, we are a bit backward. We are backward. The man, Mr. Adego, the package is using for this result in the college all over. I tell you, it's a product of my PhD program. All the time we did there, He was there, health department, health schools, everybody is calling it, but we have computer department. We have people who can do this thing. All we need to do is that we carry the student along, they will know, they will key in. Let me tell you, as we are here now, more than you people, more than us, they are well versed in computing. So when they know that this thing is germane to their success and graduation, okay, like now, do you know some people are some private schools that are graduating students online, doing convocation online. So now we can do that. Then practical can be done in workshop places. Video done, we can use video demonstration and can also stream and posted online.
I want to appreciate our presenter. Please summarize so that we can move.
In summary, what I would say is that one, I have a stake in ensuring that this blended teaching and in TV is possible, TVET is possible, and we can carry our students along. God bless you.
I want to thank you once again, our presenter. We can infer from our presentation that what we are now, we are in a regime of a backward integration. That is making use of what has been embedded or what we have been taught. And then we're equally in the regime of capacity development, not capacity building. The foundation has been laid, so we now have to keep building, each and every one of us. I would like to call Dr. Fakorede. Dr. Fakorede is of Department of Science and Technology of University of Lagos. He has a mechanical engineering background and actually a doctor in educational TVET that we are discussing today. We're going to have another very enriching and erudite section. I want to welcome you all once again to listen to Dr. Fakorede. I want to thank you once again, Dr. Alebulu. Dr. Fakorede.
Dr. Fakorede, please unmute yourself, sir.
I'm on already. Hello. Hello, am I audible?
Yes,
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I want to use this medium to welcome everybody to this webinar program. And on this ground, I want to congratulate the provost of the college, Dr. Abdulaziz Wahab Ademola, the deputy provost, Dr. Lamidi Abiodun, the chairman. All other protocols are duly observed. I don't want to say COVID-19 is a blessing in some disguise because it has enabled us to open our eye widely to the issue of the use of internet facilities that has been there but which we've been neglecting. My topic for presentation this morning is cloud training for TVET educators, COVID-19 perspective. We were saying COVID-19 perspective because Zoom has been there, cloud has been there, everything has been there before now, but because we thought we don't have the need for it. On the topic cloud, at one time or the other, we have all stored our data. When we prepare documents, we store it. The important thing about data is that it should be well stored so that it can be readily available at every point in time that such data are needed. Cloud computing. Cloud is the use of hardware and software to deliver a service over a network. That is, we are talking that we want to store anything over the internet. cloud is the delivery of on-demand computer services. What we're saying this time around is that the era has passed where you carry your flash drive, you carry your external hard drive, you carry your pen, storing data, and carry it everywhere. The problem about storing on the computer is if the system should crash or is being attacked by the virus, we are losing all our data. But to prevent this, that is why we are migrating to the existing cloud. The essence of this program is to enlighten ourselves of an avenue Hello, just give me a minute.
We can hear you.
Hello. Hello. So like I was saying, I said, what is cloud? Cloud is the use of hardware and software in storing our data for safekeeping. By the time we're talking about storing data, the important thing about storing the data is for the data to be available whenever it is needed. When we store our data over the computer on our flash drive, many times we have experienced attack of virus on such documents. Or in case where there's theft of the computer, that is stolen, we lose all those material. I remember a friend who is writing his PhD, the computer was stolen, and he's not having any backup anywhere. And that's how he has to start all over again with all these documents. But if he is being opportune to be aware that there's a forum in which he can store his data. And what are we talking about cladding our documents in Tvs? We are talking about cladding our documents in Tvs in that, one, our documents and the material could be readily accessible to the students wherever they are at every point in time. And when you need these documents, you can easily access it. And that's what we're talking then. Now let's ask ourselves this question: how does cloud computing work? We are saying rather than owning our own computer infrastructure or data center, there's a readily available programmers online which we can pick up and benefit from. Having opportunity of storing as much as 15 to 20 gigabytes of documents online. And in turn, the cloud provides computing service that can out, they have documents, they have letters, they have things that they are storing, which are their documents. They can store all these things by clouding all these documents. So at every time that they need it, they can refer to it. Not that the person that is having this is not around, so we can't get it. Now, this question that arises, which I'm asking now, what cloud computing are available? Cloud computing services cover a vast range of options, from the basic of storage to networking to processing power through natural languages, that is artificial languages, as well as standard office application. They are readily available online. What are the examples of cloud computing? Cloud computing underpins a vast number of services that includes consumer services like the Gmail, the cloud backup, the protocols. Even with your smartphone, you can access your document. And remember those days that I'm still looking for a job. What I do is that all my credentials are scanned in my email there. All my documents are there. Ready-made application letter has been written. It's in my Yahoo mail. So if I should get to anybody and say, I want to give me a job, maybe you have to come back and bring your document and say, I can get it for you in about 5 minutes. I quickly rush down to a nearby business center, download the documents, retool it, that is putting the dates, and my application letter is ready. But we're talking about a lecturer that wants to impart knowledge. We have a lot of documents that we want to give. We have materials we want to share to our students. On the cloud websites, you have means of sharing your documents to whoever you want to share it to. And you are sure that your documents are safe. We are talking about a situation that we have to, as a teacher, as lecturers, know how we have to keep our documents without us telling the story that I lost everything to that computer that crashed. No, only if we are careless. So we are saying that a fundamental concept behind cloud computing is that the location of the service is readily available. Many details such as hardware, operating system are available online that we can store all these, our documents. Let's go to the word cloud. Cloud is an acronym of 5 letters. The C is the computer. The L is the lock. And when I say the lock, what do I mean by the lock? The lock is your personal data that you want to keep. You also need an email address. And lastly, you need a password. If you have these 3, you are good to go in storing your documents on the cloud. The L is the lock. I said you have the personal data that you want to store. You should have an email, which is the means by which we access your cloud. And you also need a strong and safe password that should be known to you or to other people that you can open the clouded documents. The O there means open access. When I say open access, what are the advantages and disadvantages of clouding our documents? In the course of this presentation, we'll make available those advantages and disadvantages. Then the U there is the uploading. Uploading means storing the document online. You must have the knowledge of storing these documents. All you need to do is select whatever documents you want to keep safe online. Then you click on it and it's readily there. The last alphabet, which is the D, is your ability to be able to download the particular documents that you need when the need arises. Now the question is, what are the benefits of clouding? For us to cloud documents, what benefits are there for us to cloud? Now I've pointed out 5 benefits. We say cloud storage can save costs. How do I mean? Many of us have external hard drive. Many of us have flash drive. The original ones are not cheap to come by. Many times we store on fake documents and we lost everything to virus. We are saying here that when you cloud documents, they are very cheap. It doesn't cost you anything for the personal one. 2, data redundancy and replication. When you store your documents, it's not lying fallow everywhere, redundant. You know you needed it and it's very important. All you need is you tag it with a particular name that you can remember to bring it back whenever you need it. Data tiering for cost saving. How do I mean? By the time I want to share my document or whatever I have to my students, it is easier for me to send it to them, not minding the size from the cloud. There are some, what I mean is that there are times you want to send some documents and your mail will be telling you that the document is too big. Probably if it exceeds a particular size, it will not be able to go. But on cloud, there is no limit to whatever you are sending, in as much as you comply with the regulatory compliance. And what do I mean by this regulatory compliance? There's a maximum afford to you as an individual. To an organization, there's a limit. And as well, if you exceed a particular size limit, you may need to pay. It may not be free. But for an individual within 15 gig to 25 gigabytes, it is still free. And the most important thing about clouding documents is it is very safe. Virus will not attack it over the net. But you can have some documents on your laptop, and before you know it, if you don't have the antivirus, malware can attack such document, and that is the end of such documents. So we say it is not safe when you are putting it on your computer, but if you put it on cloud, it is there. Then what are the disadvantages? I mean the drawbacks in clouding documents. For you to back up some particular documents, depending on the size, it may be slow. It may be very slow before it will upload it. But with a very strong internet facility, you can get it done. Though it may not be fast, but you are sure that at the end of the day, when you back it up online, it is there. Another thing is that if you want to download such documents at times, it may take time for you to restore it. But just because of the fast internet facility that we are having in our environment, don't ask me about it. I don't want to say our internet facilities are slow. So it takes time for us to upload and for us to download. Another important thing that is also serving as a drawback is our internet facility. There are times that so many people will be on the server. Definitely we know that when many people are on the server, whether you want to upload or you want to download, the internet will be slow. And because of this higher internet utilization, we may encounter some little problem. But despite all this, we don't have any problem the moment we get it online there to store it. Hello? Then I want to say, what is cloud computing used for? Simply put, cloud computing is the delivery of computer services, including servers, storage, database online. And I say, what are the three types of cloud computing? There are basically three types of cloud computing. One, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, then software as a service. What are the categories of cloud? And I say it falls into 4 categories. Number 1 is the infrastructure. The second one is the platform. The third is the software. Then the last one is the function as a service. When we say the infrastructure, that is the facilities are available to you to do all this internet work. The platform are the server, the owner of the venue you want to use. Then the software is what are you using. Then who are these cloud providers? Who are these cloud providers? The top cloud provider in the 2020 as at now, because we realize that after the COVID-19 pandemic, the awareness about online facilities available for teaching increased dramatically. We can see for now that teaching is about to be moved away from the 4 walls of the classroom to online. Students are ready to learn, but the problem we're having is that our environment is yet to yield to the demand of these students that want to learn. And what is their demand? They want to learn at their own pace. They want to learn wherever they want to learn, not that you must be confined to the 4 walls of the classroom. And because of this, there are so many providers online. We have the AWS, we have the Microsoft Azure, we have the Google Cloud, Hybrid, Amazon, Microsoft, a lot of them. Alibaba is also coming up. So many options are banned in China. The IBM that is about to be forgotten before, they're also coming up with their own cloud facilities now. So there are a lot of providers online. Hanging. Hello. So what we're saying is there are so many providers online, and it's cheap, readily available for whoever wants to use it. Hello. So we are saying we have discussed about the reasons for cloud computing. Okay. We are saying the advantages are it is very cheap. It's cost saving. You don't need to buy a flash drive. In as much as you have you don't need to buy a flash drive, you don't need an external hard drive. The work is being done. But the question now is that what skills are needed for cloud computing? What are the skills that we require to possess before we can cloud our documents? The basic knowledge that is needed is you can put on your computer, you can put it off. You know how to save the same way we save on our system. If you want to save any document, you click on a particular document, then you click on save. The same way you click and you click on cloud and the document is there. Those documents are very secure in as much as the website provider are good. So we say cloud computing is an application-based software infrastructure that stores data on remote servers. Tvs. The question now arises, our work in technology and vocational education and training acquire more is on skill. Pick our area, the mechanical, the building, the home economics, the agriculture, all of us will rely more on the skillful area. So how do we cope? If somebody in geography, somebody in history, they can do it very well. We could also do it. How do we go about it? The three basic areas of domain are the cognitive, affective, and the psychomotor, as pointed out by the Bloom's taxonomy. What will happen this time around is that the lecturers will work more on the cognitive aspects. And what are these areas in the cognitive? The knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. We need to be readily available in preparing our document and our material more.
Not another one.
More on these areas. Which are the knowledge, the comprehension, the application, analysis, and evaluation. Now the second motto, we need to improve. I'm happy our management are online with us. We need to improve on our school-industry relationship. If our relationship about the school industry is improved upon, the industry will assist us more. I'm not jumping the affective domain. The affective domain has to do with the receiving, responding, valuing, organization, characterization. You see, we need a lot of work on this area of affective domain because it boils down to relationship with customer, relationship with individual in the industry, how you handle things, how you work. They will learn more of this in the industry because as we progress, we pray this pandemic will be over on time. But we learned it will still be with us for at least the next 18 months. So our work asks more on that. What are the main challenges that we are going to encounter for us to actualize practice of this clouding? Every one of us that is involved in the area of imparting of knowledge, our hands has to be on deck. All the target groups. Target group this time around are the teachers, the students, the management. All of us has to be advanced in how to use this clouding. We want to beg on our government and our management. On every school environment, there should be internet facilities. Teachers, the lecturers, they should be able to work from their office with the provision of internet facilities. Many institutions are doing it, and I think they can improve on this. If the Wi-Fi is readily available, the students will learn at ease. Another thing is the access to device. Our management has to assist us in providing us with, at least a lecturer should have a laptop. at least a lecturer should have a laptop to go. So if some of these facilities are available, we will work. Keeping students engaged. How do we keep our students engaged? Our students are all time online this time around. They are online all time. We can send material to them on WhatsApp. We can create groups to send our documents to them. So if these documents are readily available to them, at least they download film and videos all the time. If our documents are readily available to them, they will do more of it, and we need to create more awareness on it. The teachers need to offer quality teaching and learning this time around. Learning has shifted paradigm from lecture center to teaching learning center. The student needs to be more involved in teaching this time around. When they are more involved in the teaching, they are ready to learn. The era of throwing orders around has gone. We need to move to what they want. When we know what they want, then I think they will do better. The maintaining of these devices, we need to be very careful the way we handle many of these equipments. They are fragile documents, fragile equipments, both the hardware. They are very fragile, so we need to know how we handle it very well. There should be an organization of manpower development. Hello, at least once in a year, teachers should be adverse the opportunity of manpower development in whatever form or ways. Competency is very important before we can assess. If we keep abreast on this, we can test for competency very well if we know how to use many of these equipment. I hereby recommend as follows, that offering online program should be part of the curriculum. We need to start practicing it with the students when they are with us, so that by the time they are no longer with us for any reason, it will be very easy for us to switch. Like during the COVID-19, they were saying we should all go online teaching, go online teaching. Many of us don't know how to use these things. Many students don't know how to use more than Facebook and WhatsApp. But this time around, we need to keep abreast with all these online facility for teaching. If we are abreast with it, it will be very easy for us to switch over when the need arises. There should be a forum for supporting students and staff with data package and equipment. I don't know how we are going to do it. Maybe the National Commission for Communications, we know how to reduce cost of data in educational environments so that it will be easily accessible and cheaper, affordable for the students. When it is cheaper for them, I think some of these networks are doing some packages for students. They need to do better and more so that more students can be able to afford it. Capacity building is a must that our management should keep us abreast. Every day, every new things are coming online. Every day, new things are coming online. Without manpower development, we cannot get this. So capacity building for the teachers is very, very important. As well, like I used to tell my students, in the next 5 years or more, there will not be need for a teacher to be in the class to impart knowledge. Our paradigm should be shifting towards development of programs. As a teacher, you should be able to develop your program, put it in the software so that you can just give it to the student and they know how to do how to work with it. A teacher needs to start thinking the manpower development towards development of software should be a key role that the teachers should be able to do for now. It is when the knowledge is there that you can be talking about that you want to share the resources. So this is important. In conclusion, I want to say transition from the comfort of using local disk to cloud storage can be stressful, but it's happening and it's more and more every day. The benefits of cloud storage over local disk are many. The drawbacks are few and can be easily managed. The question we need to ask ourselves now is, are you planning to move? If we are not planning to move, we will be there. Thank you very much. Thank you. I think I'm done.
We want to thank Dr. Fakurede for the erudite presentation. You can see a very good association of knowledge in that presentation. I want to say, my observation, Dr. Fakurede, is that we have moved away from the regime of capacity building. We are now in capacity development.
People have comments. I need to comment.
You will get opportunity to comment. And
you
then,
see from Dr. Something inside presentation. Me, I want to put a nice presentation.
Hold on, please. Hold on, please. So, in this, in the two presentations, we've been given the concept traits by Dr. Aleburu, and Dr. Fakurede has given us the solvents, so we can now get the solution. We are quite moving on. We are going to have an interface with Dr. Fakurede now. So, like we did initially, we shall take 3 direct observations questions, and then we can equally accept chats, question from the chat. So, and then whoever want to present, make presentation to, can raise his or her hands. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon. Please, the person with 829, please, can you unmute your mic and make your presentation? 829-7035. Hello? Guys, check. It's not good. I think we'll get someone else. Please, do we have any other person? Check. Is she talking? Is there any other person? No.
Please, this person with 829-7035-094. Unmute yourself.
With the phone number, please, can you unmute yourself? Or can we go to someone else, please? Can we move to someone else? Please, is there any other question?
Hello, are you hearing me?
Okay, please, we have Dr. Adebayo. Please, go on, sir. Dr. Adebayo, ask your question, sir.
Thank you, sir. I just want to make very small contribution to the response of Dr. Aleburu to one of the questions raised. The question was that how should time be used to teach
Please, you know how to operate this thing. My phone is giving me. Yes. I'm on something. I need to comment. I'm on Zoom.
I don't know how to comment on Zoom.
Program. Many methods and techniques involved. One of which is simulation. If you use simulation, the particular item you want to teach can easily be simulated. You can procure a simulated image of that particular item you want to and present it to the student online. And this one will seriously enhance learning for the student. So this way, I think by use of simulation, you can easily teach a practical oriented topic online. So this is my contribution.
Thank you very much, Dr. Adebayo. Please, we'll allow Mr. Ebenezer Oje. Please unmute your mic and ask your question, sir.
Hello, can you hear me?
Let me congratulate
We can hear you, Mr. J. Please go on, sir.
Okay. Let me congratulate the Dean, School of Technical, the presenters, as well as the organizing committee for this workshop. It has been very insightful, very impactful. Mine is just a contribution, not a question. You know, of course, the reality of this COVID-19 and its challenges, the reality is now that all of us, we need to brace up to face the challenge. The reality, like Dr. Fakorede said, teaching, and Dr. Alebure too, opine, teaching can never be the same thing again. You know, gradually, in the past, we've been shifting, or we've been dodging from using online, many of us, when it comes to online, and even equipping ourselves, you know, with the wherewithal of teaching online or using computer to do many things with our students. Some of us used to dodge, you know, that aspect. But now, the reality is that we must all be up and doing and face the challenge that has come to be. Now, somebody said, COVID-19 has come to stay. In fact, that's the saying of many people. It has come to stay. That like malaria or fever that we always that is always around, COVID-19 too has come to stay. And if teaching must continue, then a lot needs to be done. Many times you see the union taking up, the government taking up management on many issues. Some of the things the union has been taking the management up on, if management and government, if they have been listening and coming, to agreement with the union, will have crossed many of these challenges that we are now trying to battle on how to, go around it now. The issue of internet facility has been the one, a challenge in these are particular college for some times now. But thank God, the present management has been they have been working seriously to ensure it works. We've been on that for long. That all academic staff, all offices must have internet. In fact, the student should be able to access it. Maybe you observe that many a times our students will cluster around a particular area in the evening where they see the signal to get internet. Now, our management will still have to help us seriously in this regard. Then we as academics, when we need to get ourselves equipped, we must learn how to use our devices, how to use the computer, how to use our tablet, how to use our phone for presentation, for teaching, to anything that we need to do to impact knowledge. So once again, I just want to congratulate the School of Education for this wonderful workshop. And I pray that God will help us to be at our best in delivering as we ought to. Thank you very much.
Thank you, able Chairman. Please, do we still have any other question, comments? Because we can't see any of the questions on the chat. No question, please. Comments, please, can you signify? Okay, please, the provost is signifying. Sir, we want you to unmute your.
Hello? Hello?
Mic, sir. The provost, please. Hello, sir.
Yeah,
the provost, you have the. Yes, sir. You are on, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. Well, I just want to appreciate the presenters who have also shared their expertise with us here. I've been hooked on and I listened to the presentations from the chairman of the occasion, the first speaker, that's Dr. Alebure, and the last speaker. I think the importance of this webinar seminar is for us to also learn a lot from the the expertise of the speakers, and that as a management, we are taking note of most of these points that have been raised, and I can assure the participant that as far as we are concerned, we are going to implement most of these suggestions subject to, let me use administrative language now, subject to availability of funds, because without funds, there's little or nothing we can do. But another area I also want to speak on, or to just to mention, is that as a College of Education Technical, we should be able to also be interested in fabrication. As a College of Education Technical, we need to also think, because beyond pedagogy, we should be able to also use, produce most of the things that we also use. For the fact that we are College of Education, that we also imparting knowledge, does not mean that everything must be purchased from outside the country or from the manufacturer. There are certain things we can also do on our own. And I want to challenge my colleagues in technical education, especially I'm being specific in our School of Technical Education, that please, yes, we have listened to the delivery of the speakers, but it's time for us to take into action. Yeah, it's easier for us to say, yes, management must do this, the government must do this. But beyond that, as lecturers, as instructors, as technologists, what efforts have you put in place? What support have you also given to the management and the government? Because I've spent 1 year plus here now, and I know that I've gone around most of the schools. I also noticed that some of our equipment are still lying fallow there. They're still lying fallow there, even the one the government has also provided. So while we are asking for more, please, we should be able to also use the one that are available, so as to be able to justify why we are here as scholars, as technologists, as instructors, and as lecturers, so that at least we can use the best in the technology that the speakers have also mentioned. For example, we have automobile technology department. So how far has the college benefited from that department? Understand? If as a staff, I want to use technology, there are so many technology or technological devices or innovations in that area. So what can we benefit as a college? So because, we should be able to look at that. Is it in woodwork? Is it in a building department? Is it in metal work? There are so many things we can be doing as a college that also directs attention of the whole world to the college. So as we are charging the government, we are charging the management also charging our colleagues that please let us be more proactive, and that we should come up with ideas that will make us be a leading college of education technical in Nigeria. And finally, I want to say that we cannot run away from the use of ICT, and that any knowledge, for example, now, since the pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic started, I was expecting that our colleagues in technical education will also come up with maybe a prototype or some of these equipment that we are using. Understand? We have it. Is it automatic sanitizer? All those things. Then we can also collaborate with other departments. We can collaborate. There's no department that should be island on its own. We should collaborate. We should have a joint program, joint project that we can also project the name of the college. I think I want to stop at this level. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. I would like to appreciate the provost. Please, we also have another person that raised his hand, Umar Mohammed. Please, Umar Mohammed, unmute your mic and please ask your question. Yes, please. Umar Mohammed, please. Okay, please, after Umar Mohammed, please, your question, please. Umar Mohammed, please. Do you have any question or observation? Okay, please, I will have to hand over now to Barrister Kinyemi. Please, is there any question? Okay.
Dr. Fakorede.
Unmuted. Hello. The question is, what is the difference between cloud and one cloud? I earlier said in the presentation that there are so many providers of this clouding. The work of storing your data or your documents online is what is called the clouding. And I said there are so many providers. We have the OneDrive, we have the Google Cloud, we have the IBM, we have the Yahoo. There are so many providers. So OneCloud is one of the providers of the clouding facility. And like I said earlier on, there is a minimum in which an individual is allowed to cloud without you paying. Once it exceeds that limit, you have to pay for it. So as a department, we can cloud our documents instead of putting everything on our system. And
Please just give us a few minutes. We are going to fix Dr. Fakorede's network. Dr. Fakorede, are you back, sir? Please just give us some minutes. Dr. Fakorede will join us. Dr. Fakorede, can you come here? Please, you are, okay. Dr. Fakorede. Dr. Fakorede.
hello? Okay, thank you very much. The question is the difference between cloud and one cloud. I said the action of storing data online, that is big documents, storing it online is what we call the clouding. There are providers of all these facilities. We have the Google Cloud, we have the OneCloud, Yahoo has its own, IBM has its own, SDW has its own. So there are so many providers of this cloud. But what is familiar in all of them is that there's a limit which an individual can use. Once you exceed probably 15 gig or 25 gig, you have to pay for that facility. And we say it's still cheap because it's better than for you to crash your documents on your system or you misplacing your flash drive. And once you misplace your flash drive, that is the end of all those documents. I earlier pointed a case of a colleague of mine whose laptop was stolen. And because he's not having the backup anywhere, he has to start all over. And that took him about another 18 months to 2 years. So what we're saying is that all this OneCloud, Google Cloud, SDW, IBM, they are providers. Are we still on? Hello? I can
Dr.
hear you.
Fakorede.
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Okay, go on,
I
please.
can hear you.
Go on, please.
What we are saying is that,
So what we are saying is that
I want to
I
thank
say
the
I want to
provost
thank the provost once again
for
taking his time to be with us
since
since the inception of this webinar program. We know
We
you have a lot of work at hand. But despite that, you are giving us your time. We really appreciate it. Until you tell a child what is expected of him or her, he may not know what to do. Like you are putting the School of Technical Education, you are giving them a task. Why not assist us in pointing out some of those areas that you will need us, and let's know what we are going to do. Another thing I want to say is that in the area of which we say we want the management to assist us in the manpower development, like I will say, most of us, we train ourselves. We spent our hard-earned money on our own to acquire some of these skills. If in a particular school, there's a way they can bring these facilitators around, and maybe instead of it costing an individual like 500 naira, by the time you bring it together and it is subsidized, maybe at the end of the day, it will not take us more than 100 naira or 50 naira. We know the budget is very slim with a very large assignments to be done. So there's a way you can even assist us bring in all these things. And at the same time, we want our students to have all these facilities. The student the school as a body can procure these laptops or phones in large quantity and sell it out. We are not asking you to subsidize this time around, but once you buy it in a bulky means, the price at which it will come to us will still be far cheaper than what is obtainable in the market. Thank you very much.
Okay, please, thank you very much. We have one of the participants who is a Zoom user. Please, we would like you to unmute yourself and make your comment, please. Zoom user.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, ma.
Yeah, my name is Olamide Kehinde. This is a nice program. I really enjoy, and I pray that God Almighty will still continue to help all of us to bring better things to our nation. And this thing, hello? Hello, sir.
You continue, madam. I can hear you.
Yes.
Go on.
Oh, this is a nice job. You people really did well, and God Almighty will continue to empower you to
Amen.
do more and make the country great. Make our Nigeria great in Jesus' name. Thanks for all your contributions. Hello?
Thank you. I'll be handing over to I'll be handing over to Barrister Keyemi. Please, sir, for the other proceeding.
Thank you. Our take home. The critical mass is being built. That backward integration has to be encouraged. Capacity building and capacity development. We have to encourage our students to be problem solving. We have to create an environment to solve problems. We equally have to create an environment for the teacher and lecturers to develop and create intellectual property, which may lead to patency. I want to thank everybody.
Okay, Dr. Miller, please, you have the floor, sir. Unmute your mic.
Why is it?
Unmute your mic, sir. Okay, go on, sir.
I've done that. I want to start the appreciation by first thanking the Almighty God who has made today's program a huge success. To him alone, his name be glorified. I want to also thank the provost, who also doubled as the chief host, for his presence and scholarly contribution to today's webinar program. I want to thank you, sir, on behalf of the Dean and all the staff of School of Technical Education. So I want to say that we are all aware of your desire to launch this college into ICT-driven space where we can do our teaching and learning with ease. Our prayer, sir, is that God will grant you the wherewithal to achieve this, your lofty goal for the college. Permit me to thank the chairman of the program. Of course, we have heard from him, we have learned from him. He has told us the need to use ICT to teaching and learning Tvs in this new normal of COVID-19. Sir, we are most grateful. I will pray that God will bless you and prosper your business in Jesus' name. You will all agree with me that today our erudite scholars have done what they know how to do best. They have done justice to the topic given to them. Their presentation was so insightful, so impactful, and we trust God that God will give us the grace to put all that we have learned from them to teaching our students Tvs, so that better things can be achieved in our teaching and learning. Today's program wouldn't have been a success if the organizer have not done their job well. And on this note, I want to especially thank the organizer of this program, and I must confess, they have done very well. And that's why we can see ourselves. That's why the presentation was so smooth. And I want to pray that God will bless you all for a job well done. And you also agree with me that without an audience, our time would have been a waste. That's to say that the presence of everybody at this very webinar presentation is very appreciated. So for everyone that has find time to be with us, you see, thank you all. I can recognize the President of the Deputy Provost and the Deans. Sir and Ma, we appreciate you on behalf of the Dean and the entire staff of School of Technical Education. God bless you all. We love you. Thank you.
Amen.
Mila. Okay, so to give the closing format. Dr. Okay.
Dr. Okay, please, you have the floor, sir. Let him talk. He's not talking. Dr. Okay, sir.
Right on the line. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you, sir.
Let us pray. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
We thank you for the today's seminar, our presenters and the participants, as we are informed on how to promote innovation in technical and vocational education. Give us the knowledge to do this righteously and effectively. We pray for the college management and Nigeria administration at large. Thank you, and we appreciate you, Lord. You know you will lead us and lead this management team and Nigerian government in order to lead us to a promised land. Thank you for answering our prayer. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen.
Okay, Barrister.
Amen. Thank you very much. See you around.
Okay, we would like to appreciate everybody for coming. So thank you. The ethics of Zoom will have to allow you, if you want to make comments or greet your friends, you can, so that we can bring this to a total close. Thank you very much. So we have our exit point while we give you some music to hear. Thank you very much, everybody.
Let's allow Mr. Akiyemi to still say some things before we officially close.
Yes. We have officially closed, please.
Okay.
Thank you very much, please. So we are bringing the meeting to an end.
First, 2012, 2013. What about is our account?
Well done. Bless you.
So you consider not you do 2013. Hello, 2020.
So, gentlemen, it's a job well done. We appreciate you all. Well done.
Congratulations, by
When we can build to the whole world. That is that's one area we have to look at. We have to start our own radio station for the question on education.
I tell